Hello friends, this is Scott. We're back here down at the hobby farm. This was from the last trip down. And here's a problem I had that I wish I would have done this job right the first time, but I wasn't sure exactly how to do the job. So I guess you got to make mistakes and you got to correct those mistakes. So as you saw last year and the year before, I planted trees and then I put the wire cages around them to keep the deer away. And then I did have to open them up and weed. And when I first put the cages in, I really really put them together tight. I had lots of wire tied in, made them very secure, which was way overkill. So when I needed to clean the weeds out in the middle of the summer last year, I had to redo all that. And I basically just zip tied it from then on, because the deer aren't that aggressive. If you deter them, they're not going to be that persistent. But so I made them a lot easier to get into now. But I figured that the solution to my problem would be obviously digging outside the cage, at least 4 inches, 4 to 5 inches, and dig all the way around so that the wire is inside the cage, so that the grass is not growing up inside the wire or on the wire. And I'm going to need to bring a lot of bark down here to mulch all this in. I don't have any cardboard now. I should put some more cardboard too, but I am going to have to open up these bins and clean them out occasionally. But hopefully by extending the mulch around the edges of the cages, I can just do a lot of mowing, and I won't have the problem of this grass just growing up tall up into the wire. So we'll see how that goes. So maybe I'm not doing it right. Maybe I'll be doing it again a different way, but we'll see. So here's a look at it all cleaned up with the wire off. This one, again, I'd loosened them all up, so I had very few ties, so I was able to take that whole wire off. Yeah, it looks pretty sharp when you get the wire back on. And again, I need to bring a truckload of wood chips down, and I'll probably have to buy them, as I don't have any supply of tree service wood at the moment, or chips. So we'll have to probably buy a load to take care of this issue. But again, there were 6 trees, fruit trees on this side of the house, and they're all having the same issue, and there's Miss Thing with me. So I had to do 6 of these, and again, it took me, probably 45 minutes to an hour to do each one of these and pull all the weeds, and it was a full wheelbarrow full of grass and weeds with each tree. So yeah, a little bit of work. And I put all those grass clippings and soil attached into the 3-bin compost system, which I'm just going to use as a static bin for now. And then over time, it'll all break down, and it'll be some good compost to screen out. But again, each one of these trees had its own challenges, and some were better than others, and some were not very much fun. So I can honestly say this is probably the least favorite job that I've done so far at the hobby farm. I'm sitting on a bucket with my hori and trying not to disturb the tree roots too much while I'm ripping out all this grass and weeds. I'm hoping I didn't hurt the trees. They seem to be fine, but again, you never know. When you make a mistake with a tree, it takes you a little while to figure it out. But here we go. I just open up. This is the 4th one, I think, of the trees I had to do. And this one had some dandelions in there, but Miss Thing was kind of hungry to help me out with some of this grass, and she decided to eat some of it. So yeah, we let her have a snack, I guess, to settle her stomach. And she's a good cat. She's with me. Mr. Lincoln isn't with me, so she's able to hang out more and more. And the honeybees were out enjoying their favorite food, which is dandelion. It's like meth for honeybees. So saw quite a few bees pollinating and feeding on these flowers. So here's number 4 all done and caged back up. Looks pretty good. And I have 2 more left. And again, there's a full wheelbarrow of weeds and grass clippings I threw in the back. So here's number 5. And yeah, I got this one all trenched around, started with that. And then opened it up and got to work. And again, just on my bucket and hori and just ripping those out. Again, these will look much better when I have some wood chips to help suppress the weeds. And again, I need to bring some down because I do not have any at the present time. But so tree number 5 is looking pretty good. And that leaves us with tree number 6, which is the pear tree. And that was the smallest tree that I wasn't sure was alive last year. But yeah, it's looking good this year. It's going to take a long time before it produces any pears. But the tree looks very strong and healthy, so we're good with that. So again, on my vision quest, I finished the 6th tree. And there's how much I took out of the 6th tree. So there's still, again, a full wheelbarrow for every tree pretty much. So here's a look, strolling back through at how nice it looks after it's all cleaned up. And again, the grass is still filling in from all the seeding I've done, but it'll take time. So hopefully by the end of the summer, it'll look like a lawn, but we'll see. But they look much better. I mean, I hate the look of that all the grass and stuff growing up inside those cages. And I hate weed eating. Again, weed eaters don't work well with wire, so it's one of those things you just got to get. It's manual labor. You got to get down there and just use your hands and a knife or something and rip all those weeds out. So anyway, looks good. And it went from that. And again, it took probably about 45 minutes to an hour for each one of these trees. And it was work, and it was no fun. But I got to wave at the neighbors a lot because I was just sitting on a bucket all day, so they were all driving by waving. And I even think I saw some people going to work and coming home from work. So they knew I was out here working. But it looks so much better now that it's cleaned up, and hopefully with the wood chips, when I bring them down and add them, it'll keep me from having to do too much for the rest of this year. But I think every year I'll have to open them up and do a little bit of weeding. The bindweed in this yard is pretty bad, and you're never going to beat the bindweed. Wood chips does not suppress bindweed, so it's something you'll always have to deal with until you weaken it and kill it off eventually over time. But I'm happy with it, and I got my lawn watered in too, and the whole garden. So it was a pretty productive trip. And again, I showed in the last video, I also brought down a load of compost, 2 cubic yards, and I was able to get that all spread out. So anyway, thanks for watching this video. And if you like what you see, please hit that subscribe button, like, share, and comment. Thank you.